Welcome to Dr. Roger and Friends, the bright side of longevity, hosted by 3 Ps in a podcast, Doc Roger, Teresa, and Danielle. Thanks for joining us for coffee and conversation. Welcome back. Today we are joined by 2 powerhouse leaders who have dedicated decades to improving the quality of life of older people. Nancy Schier Anzelmo and Paula Hertel share a love for horses and have co-founded Connected Horse, which provides the opportunity for people living with early-stage dementia and their care partners to experience a meaningful and powerful connection with horses. In addition to being co-founder, Nancy is also the educational director of Connected Horse and is a widely known, highly regarded gerontologist and Alzheimer's dementia care specialist, a consultant, speaker, and a trainer. She is dedicated to promoting person-centered care that offers those with dementia opportunities to grow socially and spiritually and to enjoy enriched and satisfying lives. Nancy holds a master's degree in gerontology and has achieved national recognition and awards as a speaker, teacher, and innovator in the field of Alzheimer's dementia care programming. Paula has spent the last 25 years focused on improving service delivery systems for elders in need of care and services through consulting projects and executive management positions. She has broad experience in senior housing and assisted living operations, staff training, regulatory compliance, new program development, and family and community needs. Paula holds a Master's of Social Work from San Jose State University. The research-based Connected Horse has shown that the human-horse connection helps participants not only feel relaxed, confident, and happy in the moment, but they also learn about self-compassion, stress reduction strategies, and communication and awareness practices.
Well, welcome everybody to the bright side of longevity. As always, we are thrilled to be with you, Danielle and Teresa and I, but we're also thrilled because we have 2 guests who are professionally very impressive, but personally very impressive, and people who have passions that are very aligned with our own. And that has to do with animals, and it has to do with helping people struggling with some of the challenges of aging, particularly dementia in their case. And so we're very happy to have Paula and Nancy here today. You know, in this time of technology, we tend to worship at the altar of technology. And if something isn't new and bright and shiny, or metaphorically speaking, relative to a treatment or any kind of new product, we tend to shy away from it. The 3 of us, Danielle, Teresa, and I, we're kind of contra on that, aren't we? We tend to go with those things that are more aligned with our core as a human species. And Connected Horse, which Paula and Nancy are going to talk to us about, I think that goes to the core of social connection, of the animal-human bond, and of our relationship with nature. So I am excited about it. Welcome, ladies. We're just dying to hear more about this, and we appreciate the time you're giving us.
So, Nancy, let's start with you. Why did the 2 of you start the Connected Horse program?
Well, back in 2015, 5 years ago, Paula and I have been in the field of senior living for almost 30 years. We try not to date ourselves. And we were starting to feel a bit frustrated with the way things were going and the way people living with dementia were being treated. And also we have spent our careers trying to spend time to improve the quality of life. And we thought we need to do something really creative and different. And we both have horses. We both love horses and know that that's our healing power to get through the week. And we thought, well, if horses have helped all these other populations between children with autism and veterans and people with disabilities, why the heck can't they help people living with dementia and their care partners? So in our ignorance, quite frankly, we said, let's just help both. And we picked this dyad model. We went to Stanford University and said, we have this crazy horse project we'd like to do. Would you consider doing some research with us with the School of Medicine and the Red Barn Leadership Program that's there? It's world renowned for a leadership program with horses. And so we decided that we would test it out, and we wanted the science and the research before because we felt the idea would work. And one of the things that we did very differently was we wanted it to be in a dyad model. So it wasn't as in usual research where they separate two populations, people living with dementia and diagnosed and their care partners. We felt they're on this journey together, and we wanted them to be together. And so with that, we started the program knowing that there was some healing power with the horses and these interactions that would help them at the beginning of this journey when they're newly diagnosed.
Well, so the caregivers, I'm intrigued by that. Because I think it's so important. We all talk about how caregivers sometimes don't outlive those they care for because it is such a stressful thing to do. We're always talking about the Southwest Airlines, put on your own mask first in the briefing because caregivers need to do that. So congratulations on identifying that. And I'm sure it's making all the difference. So Paula, what are the most impactful things you see within the caregivers as far as a result of your program, of what you do?
Well, one of the things that you just said about sort of this self-care, what happens sort of magically is when you get to the barn, those roles of I'm a caregiver and I have to take care of somebody and I'm really here to protect this person, and the person who has the diagnosis of dementia is the one who's here for treatment, all of that goes away because the horse just wants to be in relationship. And so what we do as facilitators and how we've built this program is that we really want to break away those roles of why are you here? What is the outcomes? So what just happens when we let all of this planning and programming and outcomes go is that people get in relationship with the horse. People forget that they're here for a particular purpose. They take a deep breath and they're in the moment. And we've had, and I think one of the most incredible stories that sort of sticks in my mind that illustrates what I'm trying to say is we were in a paddock next to a horse, and we hadn't planned for that. We just went in there to have a debrief about an activity. And we were asking people what it felt like to be in this paddock where horses live. And caregivers and people with dementia were saying different things. And one care partner said, I feel like this feels like a prison to me. And this must be what my husband, who was diagnosed a year ago with dementia, feels like. And so we asked her husband, and he's like, no, I feel like, I want to play with the horse that's, next in the next paddock. And all of a sudden for her, there was this realization is that she was feeling that way. And she says, I feel like I've put myself in a box in a prison. And the horse next door, Sailor, I'll never forget this, stuck his head through the paddock and just laid his head on this horse's shoulder. And they both just that release and that realization that even care partners put themselves into these positions where they feel like they can't get out of it. And what happens at Connected Horse is that, yes, one role, one identity that you are is a caregiver. But you are also a wife, a husband, a friend, and that you can you have the power to define yourself in ways that are meaningful, purposeful, in healing for yourself. And those little sort of magic things happen at the Connected Horse workshops that we don't plan for. We don't put curriculum around them. It just, if we let it be and we let people be in relationship with the horses, they get what they need. Participants get what they need.
That's magical. We just completed a 3-part series on spirituality. And, you can't talk about spirituality without talking about nature, relationship with other beings, including creatures, and the whole idea of being present, being able to be in the present moment. So rare today because of our society. So, I mean, to me, that's what's going on. So, I mean,
Yes.
it's a very spiritual thing going on. I'm sure there's tears everywhere.
Yeah. Well, tears and laughter and this idea that even someone living with dementia still is purposeful. And not, I always tell stories because it brings it out. We had one participant who we always say that this is for people with early stage dementia, but Nancy and I have a hard time saying no. So sometimes we have people in the program that from a clinical perspective, you may say we're further along than early stages. And a horse came running up from the pasture, and he instinctively moved his wife away. She wasn't really in harm's way, but when you see a big 1,200-pound animal come running up at you, and there was this realization that his role as a husband and as a protector of his wife and these sort of traditional triggers that you have of how my relationship is still there. If you move away and stop looking at all the deficiencies that somebody has in their behaviors and their ability to drive and those kinds of things, that relationship piece that people have is there. And we tend to lose it when we get stuck in the day-to-day activities of what has to get done. And that was, again, another just sort of beautiful moment around if we focus on relationships, if we focus on being in the moment, if we focus on those things that are really around love and connection, those stay with us regardless of what your mini mental says or what the clinician says if you can drive anymore and those kinds of things. And so that's what we highlight at Connected Horse, what we can do.
Bravo.
Beautifully said. And I haven't cried yet today. So thank you. Now, if you started telling that story, I'm ready to start tearing up because I think that's so.
Tears are good. It's a release.
So we're all animal lovers. But why are horses to you so special? What's different about horses?
Well, horses have, they really have been the foundation of our civilization. They've always been part of what we do. And special about horses is that they are prey animals. And people ask us all the time, why don't we use other animals, dogs and cats, and so forth? Well, they're a predator. And a predator wants to be with you. But a prey animal is always on its risking its life. It's always looking around to see, well, are you going to hurt me? Are you going to do something to me? And horses for centuries have built this instinct that they can read you so clearly and they can read what's going on in their environment. And a horse will read you immediately. It's a mirror. And I think of a story, as Paula said, where a gentleman who was high up in the military. He was now caring for his wife with dementia. He kept saying to me all the time that everyone likes her and not me. That horse isn't going to come near me. They love her. And I took him silently to stand with this horse and be near it over, if we call this exercise, over the fence. The horse came right up to him and he said, "Oh my heavens, I had no idea what I'm putting off into the universe." And he said, if I had known that, I would have been a much better leader for all these years, because I'm realizing what I'm putting off. And when I put that aside, the horse came straight to me. And he felt just in tears. He said, "This is amazing. I can do this now. I can take care of my wife. I know this horse has taught me." So the horse is the teacher. We're the facilitators, but the horses are truly the teachers. And we jokingly say, next time we're going to try it with elephants or something, much larger, because there's something about the size of the horse that's intimidating that helps the couple or the pair get through this journey ahead of them. There's a lot of fear involved with a new diagnosis of dementia.
You explained it was that they are a mirror to our souls, and I thought that was particularly beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. I love them, but I never heard that expression. Are these horses anything special? Are they trained specially at all?
we like to use